Consider mutual funds and shares if you want to go into medium-term investment in 2025. Welcome to my series on investment that you should consider in the year 2025. In part one, we looked at short-term investment that you can consider, and over there, I explained fixed deposit and treasury bill. Today, I'm looking at medium-term investment that you can consider. And the two investments I want to talk about today are mutual funds and shares. So let's start off with mutual funds. Mutual funds are basically run by institutions who bring together funds of individual investors, put them together and invest in a number of instruments. So mutual fund companies can invest in treasury bill, they can invest in bonds, they can invest in shares and other low risk investments, such that when they get returns out of it, the returns are added to your investment that you have with them. So that's how mutual fund works. So let's make it practical. Assuming I have 10,000 cedis, you have 20,000 cedis, another person has 30,000 cedis. If you go into mutual fund investment, the mutual fund company or the finance company will bring all these funds together and invest for higher returns. If I went to perhaps a bank to invest 10,000 cedis in, let's say, fixed deposit, the bank may say that, oh, because my amount is not too huge, they are going to give me, let's say, 8%. But because the mutual fund company is able to join investment from individuals together, they can go to the same company and get about 20%. And that means that you are getting some returns more than if you had gone to the institution yourself. Most of these mutual fund companies are also experts, so they consider the risks in some of these investments before they commit your funds into that. So that's another investment you will want to consider in the medium term. In finance, medium term, you are looking at 2 to 5 years. So if you want an investment that you can be building up some funds within 2 to 5 years, then mutual fund may be an option that you want to consider. The second option you want to consider in the medium term is what we call shares. Shares basically means that you are putting your money into another company, expecting that the company will give you profit or what they call dividends at the end of the year. Now, shares gives returns or profit in two ways. One is that if the share price goes up, your investment amount with the institution goes up. Two, if the company makes profit and they give you dividends, that becomes an interest to you. So let me break it down so that you understand it well. So let's say I go to GCB Bank PLC and I want to buy their shares. Today, their share is, let's say, about 5 cedi, 50 pesos. If I buy the share beginning of the year, January 2025, and by June, the share price has moved from 5 cedi, 50 pesos to, let's say, 7 cedis, and I decide to sell my shares, it means that I've gained about 1 cedi, 50 pesos profit on the share that I bought. Then I'll multiply it by the number of shares that I bought, either 500 shares or 1,000 shares, and that will give you a certain amount of profit that you have made within the period. In the same vein, if GCB Bank makes profit for the year, let's say 2025, they make profit, and they decide to share the profit to shareholders, I'll get a copy according to the number of shares that I hold in GCB Bank Limited. So that's also another investment you want to consider. However, you cannot guarantee that a company's share will go up or down just on the face of it. A number of economic factors determine that. So as you invest in shares, don't think that it's like a treasury bill where your investment will grow. With shares, it's possible that within the same period, your share price will never increase, it will remain the same or even drop. In that case, you have made some losses on the investment. Or a company can go for 2, 3, 5 years without giving you dividends. So that's another thing that you should consider as you want to look at shares. And that's why it's always important to speak to experts, sign up to expert platform to understand how these shares work before you go into it. And in Ghana, if you want to buy shares, you can't buy the shares directly from the companies. You have to buy it through what we call brokers, licensed brokers. So if you go to Security and Exchange Commission, you see their report on the licensed brokers, the performance of the shares over the last maybe 6 months or 9 months, and that will inform you the kind of shares that you should buy. So in the medium term, if you want to consider investment in 2025, you may want to consider mutual fund as I've explained, or you want to go for shares. So that's the second part of my series on investment that you should consider. I'll bring the third part of another set of investment that you should consider before you enter in 2025. It's always good to have your facts right, understand the situation before you go into the next year, so that by the time you enter 2025, you already have information on the kind of investment you want to do. Again, this is Patrick TV GH. Please subscribe, share this video to educate somebody on financial lessons.